I encourage everyone to get curiously excited about the bigger version of them that exists on the other side of their bucket list. Curiously excited. Because here's the thing, people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
Yeah.
And we have a midlife what? Crisis. Let it be a midlife awakening. And there's so many people just existing, not living. There's so many people just reacting to the world rather than proactively initiating, designing their own life. And this gives people an opportunity to draw the line in the sand and go, you know what, I'm going to be proactive about my life, create my own agenda. The bucket list isn't just about the ticks. It's about how you reverse engineer every aspect of your life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's about the growth of you on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations, but more importantly, it's about you that exists on the other side. And that's a bigger version of yourself that you do not know yet.
Welcome to Season 4 of the Manage Self, Lead Others podcast with Nina Sunday, CSP, for experienced and aspiring people managers. This show helps you explore ways to become a more intentional leader. Each episode, host Nina Sunday speaks with some of the brightest business minds on the planet who share a passion to elevate and transform team culture. Workplace culture hides in plain sight. Is yours flourishing? Join the movement to make your workplace a better place to work. Are you ready? Because it's time to manage self, lead others.
Trav Bell is known as the bucket list guy, the world's #1 bucket list expert. When Trav was 18, he wrote a to-do before I die list, long before bucket lists were a thing. Decades later, his list has become his life mission. Not only is Trav an accomplished speaker, coach and mentor, he's also founder CEO of the Certified Bucket List Coach global network of coaches on a mission to help 10 million bucket listers live purposely fulfilled lives, or tick it before you kick it. From families to teams in Fortune 500 companies, welcome Trav Bell.
Cool.
I know that you help people create their bucket lists and in a certain way. You also talk about the reverse bucket list, and you've written a book too that's going great guns, I believe.
There it is.
That's great. My bucket list blueprint. So we'll have the link in the show notes, and I guess I saw it on Booktopia and also Amazon.
Yep.
Anywhere where good books are found.
Well, yeah, that's what they say. Hopefully it's found there.
So tell us a little bit about your to-do before I die list that you did as a teenager. That's got you started.
Well, I kind of always had one written down, and since I was 18, I don't know, I read a Tony Robbins book or something like that really early on. I just wrote down this list of things that to do before I die, before it was a bucket list. And it was always my, I guess, North Star. It was always my compass, my reason for getting out of bed in the morning, and my reason for making decisions quickly in business, and really wanting to leverage and in my business, in my first business anyway. Because, it's not just when you set up a business, as you know, like it's not just about the money that's created or the time that's created. I was the first to franchise personal training studios around Australia. So right. I did personal training for 20 years, and one of the pioneers in setting up personal training. This is in the 90s. So I grew up as a jock, surfer down here in Ocean Grove down in Victoria, and that led me to do a physical education degree. Started personal training early 90s. Started with one client, ended up with tens of thousands of clients across Australia. Franchised, then I had a chain of them, fell out of love for it, loved the end product of personal training, but I was becoming too much of a lawyer and accountant. I was just kind of over it. And so I learned the NLPs and life coaching and the positive psychology courses and all that sort of stuff. A friend of mine said, Trav, you're in these courses all the time. Why don't you teach this stuff? So I put on a talk about a month later. I asked the room, who else has got one of these lists to do before you die? I was like, no one. I was the only freak in the room. And I said, why do you get up out of bed in the morning? Why do you want to earn more money? Why do you want to grow your business? Most people say, I want to pay off the house, put the kids through school, do a bit of travel when I'm older. Yeah, possibly sicker. I shared some stories. Again, this is about 15 years ago. So prior to that, I had my list. And then Joe, one of the participants, said, how's the list at the end of that seminar? How's the list to do before you die stuff? It's like a bucket list. You're like the bucket list guy. Right then, like the whole offline world was going online. It was around, 15, a few more years, 15 years ago. I read the 4 Hour Work Week with Tim Ferriss. And here I was. I've got these bricks and mortar gyms all around Australia with my name on the commercial leases, these warehouses, and that's all well and good. I've been reverse engineering that. It took me about 3 years to defranchise the whole business. I sold off
Yeah.
3 of my studios that I owned, and they're still going today, which is great. And I went online. I went full time, and I came out of the blocks as a speaker.
Well, episode 141 from memory is with Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, but his new book is called Ask. And he's all about writing down what you want in life, like writing down your goals and doing it daily. So the bucket list is writing down goals, but it's not using affirmations so much as just having this list. And what's the ideal number to have on a list? I mean, it's endless, I suppose.
Oh, look, no, about 350 things on mine. But you got, but like I added one literally yesterday. And yeah, some have got more. Like I get people to do. I get people to write their list. Obviously, I did the TED talk, and I wrote this acronym, the My Bucket List Blueprint, the namesake of the book, and it's in the TED talk. And the acronym, My Bucket List, is designed to help people go north, south, east, west in their own brain, help them to extract and articulate a personally meaningful and holistic bucket list. It's not just about travel, because travel is really expensive. Everyone thinks a bucket list is about travel.
Well, it's experiences too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lying on a hammock in Thailand would do, but then still it's a place. No, there are lots of things like maybe learn a musical instrument or whatever.
Yeah, and that's it. And so, because one of my biggest drivers is underpinning everything that I do is positive psychology. Which is as you know, the psychology of happiness.
Well, so, they say that really an important factor in a positive life is having something to look forward to. Now, if you have a bucket list, you've got 20, 200, 350 things to look forward to. And the funny thing is, some years ago, I did a list. I didn't call it a bucket list. It was just a list of everything that I wanted. It included things, but a list of everything that I wanted. It included experiences. And I just blue tacked it inside a cupboard. And every now and again, I go in and cross off things. Within 2 years, without even trying, everything had been crossed off.
Funny
it just
how that
happens as if by magic.
Because like you said, writing down, and there's actually studies to suggest that if you write stuff down, go old school analog, pen, paper, versus even typing into your phone, it will imprint into your reticular activating system better than digitally.
Yeah.
So the fact is that people don't even write goals down. If you just write goals down, you've got a 46% more likelihood of them actually manifesting, so let alone bucket list items. So even if you and when you're writing goals down, you're basically typing into Google.
Yeah.
To get, and then the universe, whatever you want to call it, becomes the search engine that conspires to show you the way to get it.
My version of a bucket list this year has been a vision board, and I did one last year as well. And
I'll trade you.
There we go.
There you go.
And what's interesting is
there's your thumbnail.
Yeah. What's interesting is I've never put the red carpet image on the bucket list before, and I'm about to go to my second red carpet event in a couple of weeks. And it's like that's not something that happens every year. I go, well, that's because I put it on my vision board. And look, I'll probably start another bucket list again because it's nice to have it in sentence form, as well as in images. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems silly, but again, a lot of people don't even write goals down, let alone make a visual of it. So that's, it's so, we've said over and over, write your goals down, write your goals. But a lot of people, the general pop don't write goals down through fear of failure or fear of disappointment. Right?
That's right. They don't cultivate a feeling of certainty, and you can actually cultivate that, because every time you achieve even one thing on your list, that's like a drop in the bucket of certainty that can actually, it's like a muscle. You can grow certainty.
So people don't want to disappoint themselves. That's why they don't even write it down in the first place. Because, and I say this, is only, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, only worry about the what and the why, not about the how. If you want to climb Mount Everest, you just write summit Mount Everest, because I really, really want to, and it's like a 10 out of 10 in terms of motivation for me. And then the path will show itself in due course. You'll start having conversations with other people. You'll start talking to other mountaineers. You'll start reading stuff online. You'll start doing this. You'll start doing, and before you know it, over the passage of time, the how will show itself. If you are really, really, if the why is strong enough, the how will appear.
Yeah. So how can this podcast tends to go to managers with teams. So can we think about what would be in it for a manager to try and get their people to do a bucket list?
Easy. I mean, I spoke at an event last night, the Retail Leaders Networking event, and there was all C-level, C-suite execs from retail. And it's engagement. That's what it is. And engagement, as you know, is the scariest statistic a company can look at is the level of disengagement in their teams. So if I remember rightly, it's something like 89% in America and about 70% here in Australia. So let's say
disengage. You're absolutely right.
Disengage. So there's like nearly 90% of people 9 out of 10 people who go to work every day, 7 out of 10 people who go to work every day are just not into what they do, and they couldn't really care less. My limiting belief when I started speaking was I would go in and do a keynote, right? I'd talk about bucket lists, and then everyone would leave, like quit the next day and go and live, go and run around the world.
Oh, your fear is that they might quit their job, and then
that was my fear,
won't be happy that they hired you.
Exactly. So, that was my limiting belief. So I only ran my own events when I first started speaking. I did public events, so people would buy a ticket to the show,
right?
Come along to my event, come down to Melbourne, come to my bucket list boot camps and stuff like that. And then someone asked me to do a keynote, but I had to reframe it all and say, all right, it took me ages. A bucket list. So my reframe for companies is this: a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. And is it work to live or is it live to work? So it's work to live. So it really brings home that work to live principle. So if you're really engaged in your life plan, it has a direct waterfall effect into your career plan.
Absolutely, yes.
And it gives you an incentive, a personal, meaningful incentive to go to work every day, seize opportunities, climb the ladder if there is one, and earn more cash flow or earn more time flow and seize those opportunities to your advantage so you can go and do your bucket list.
Yeah, there's bucket lists. There's I've always liked having words and images, because I remember when I wanted to move from I was in Sydney and I was in the landlocked suburbs, and I wanted to move to the beach. And I just did 4 things, which was I find a place at the beach, I make new friends, and I had 4 things there. And I just, in my head, that was all I could visualize, and it just manifested. It was so easy, really. It took about 6 months, but I suddenly was living at the beach 6 months later. Making new friends.
Yeah. That the whole manifestation thing, it's if you're watching, listening to this, we challenge you to try it. Just give it a shot. What do you want to have happen at the end of this year? I don't know when this is coming out, but what do you want to have? Well, 12 months from now.
Yeah, this will
And
be
just
sort of like a Christmassy New Year sort of episode. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Just go for it. Trust yourself that it will work out. Unbelieve the story that you've led yourself to believe up until now, and make 2025 your year of bucket listing, I reckon.
Is there a trick to writing down what you want? Like you do it in the present tense as if it is now, or you avoid the future tense? Not I will have this, but I do have this. That's what they talk about in affirmations.
No, look, here's the thing, right? It's actually not that hard, right? Think of, like everyone overcomplicates it. So check this out. I've got a signature keynote. I go through my bucket list blueprint, and I give the skeleton of what I've just discussed there. And their job is to put meat on the bones when they go home and create their own bucket list, put their own oxygen mask on first before they can help others. Mm. So that's what, leaders need to do. They need to, I said to all these leaders last night at this event, you guys have got to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can go and help others. Be the example of what a bucket lister really is, because, I want to work for a bucket lister. I want to catch up and have coffee, beer, wine with a bucket lister, someone who's glass half full, not half empty.
Yes.
Someone who's got a spirit of adventure, fun. They've got a good energy, vitality. And so I want to do business with a bucket lister. Right.
Right.
And so, and I want my parents to be bucket listers. I want my kids to be bucket. I want my family to be bucket listers, and people are like, right. Here I am trying to lead, but I've got to lead by what? Example.
Mm.
So if you lead by example, it has a massive effect.
You said the magic word, adventure, because that's what I think is what a bucket list is. It's not so much, you might have a few geographical places, but it's the adventure or the experience that place is likely to give you. But also you can have adventures in your own city, in your own country. You don't have to travel overseas.
Yeah, no, I on that, I frame it up as I encourage everyone to get curiously excited about the bigger version of them that exists on the other side of their bucket list.
Right.
Curiously excited. Because here's the thing, people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
Yeah.
And we have a midlife crisis. Let it be a midlife awakening. And, and there's so many people just existing, not living. There's so many people just reacting to the world rather than proactively initiating, designing their own life. And this gives people an opportunity to draw the line in the sand and go, you know what, I'm going to be proactive about my life, create my own agenda. So your bucket list isn't just about the ticks. It's about how you reverse engineer every aspect of your life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's about the growth of you on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations, but more importantly, it's about the you that exists on the other side. And that's a bigger version of yourself that you do not know yet. How dare you go through this life and not be curiously excited about the bigger version, your potential that lives on the other side of your bucket. You would never give that advice to your kids.
Which is your destiny, and your destiny awaits you. And even if you're loving the life you're in now, there's a bigger version of yourself still ahead of you if you choose to embrace it. I think a bucket list can help you be more self-aware about what it might trigger. If it triggers things like, oh, I could never do that, or I couldn't afford that. If you have any of these, I couldn't do this. I could never speak in front of people. I'm too afraid. Or if it triggers all those negative thoughts, then it's an opportunity to, they're limiting beliefs that you can actually then say, well, thank you, limiting belief. Well, I can actually remove you from my life because I don't need it. Now, the thing about the reverse bucket list, it's interesting just today because I'm doing a proposal for a company that we last did a proposal in 2020. And I realized that I needed to do a what's new about brain power training. And so I'm really excited now because I wrote down all the things that they wouldn't have known. We've got like a new website and a this and a that. And so that's a really good thing to do every now and again, is to write down what you have achieved.
And it's less about me, more about we. It's about what hopefully I can, positively trigger within people. And, I get sent GoPro footage and videos and photos and tagged and stuff literally every day. It's a tsunami of love and positive reinforcement for helping people on their bucket list is really cool. So it gives me a lot of energy to want to help even more people. And gratitude is one of the pillars of positive psych, right? But we live in such a forward-facing world. The next thing, the next goal, that we actually forget about what we've done.
Yes.
And even in my talks, I get people to list just 3 to maybe 5 things that they've done in their life as if they were on a bucket list all the way along. People really struggle to do that.
Yeah. We're coming to the end of our time. And just before we say goodbye, Trav, it's really wonderful talking about this. We were saying, is it possible that a manager can encourage their team to write their own list?
So no one has to share. You don't have to share, but here's the thing, if you do share what you want in life, your goals with other people and what you've done, that firstly, the goals that you've got in life, let's say your bucket list, and that can be really eclectic. It doesn't matter, no judgment.
Fantastic, Trav. So we'll have in the show notes how they can contact you.
Thanks, Nina. Cheers. Bye.
Well, today's guest, we're speaking with Trav Bell, the bucket list guy. And I hope that you'll be inspired to start writing down the things you want to achieve in life, your adventures, not only things you to own, but maybe things to learn, places to go, experiences to have. Buy his book, listen to his podcast, and just play a bigger game in life and write it down, ask for what you want, and let your destiny, your true destiny, find you, because you're never too old to do what you've always wanted to do. So do it now. Don't wait for a bad diagnosis. Don't do a why me. Just go, it's me. All right. My name is Nina Sunday. I'm your host of Manage Self Lead Others. It's been a true delight talking with Trav Bell today. And get that book, write your list, ask for what you want, have a life of adventure, and have this next year coming up your best year ever. Bye for now.
Nina Sunday CSP is on a mission to help leaders transform culture. Nina Sunday travels from Brisbane, Australia to facilitate half-day or full-day workshops at your location anywhere across Australia. For a list of Nina's topics around leading people, productivity and communication, go to brainpowertraining.com.au/signature programs to request a tailored proposal. To book Nina Sunday, CSP, to speak at your conference in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, or internationally, head to ninasunday.com for details.